Robinhood stock closed last week at $128.49, a gain of 0.23% for the day. While the move itself looks small, the story behind it is much bigger. The stock has been on a notable run throughout the past few months, and even during periods of market uncertainty, it has shown surprising strength. But what makes this moment particularly important is the shift happening within the company. Robinhood is transforming, and the market is beginning to recognize that change. Over the past few years, Robinhood was often viewed as a simple commission-free trading app riding the wave of retail investor enthusiasm. It became famous during the meme stock era, and it carried the reputation of being a platform used mostly for basic stock and crypto trading. But that picture is fading. In 2025, Robinhood began entering the next phase of its evolution. The company doubled its revenue and tripled its earnings in the third quarter. Crypto trading volume surged. User activity increased. And now the company is moving aggressively into new areas that could reshape its long-term future. One of the most significant developments is Robinhood's push into derivatives, futures, and prediction market-style contracts. The company recently announced a partnership with Susquehanna International Group to power a new futures and derivatives exchange. This move represents a major step beyond traditional equities and crypto. It signals that Robinhood wants to compete not only with brokerage firms, but also with established derivatives exchanges and fintech platforms offering more advanced financial products. This expansion is meaningful because derivatives trading has historically been dominated by sophisticated investors and large institutions. If Robinhood can bring derivatives and futures to retail traders in a way that is regulated, safe, and easy to understand, it opens a powerful new revenue stream for the company. Derivatives generate higher margins. They lead to more frequent trading, and they anchor users more deeply into a platform. If Robinhood can execute this vision, the financial impact could be substantial. At the same time, the company is also moving into prediction market-style contracts, which allow users to trade based on outcomes of real-world events. These contract types are extremely popular overseas and have been growing in interest across global markets. If Robinhood gains regulatory clarity and user adoption for this new category, it could become one of the first major mainstream financial platforms to offer event-driven trading in a legal, scalable format. Many investors are beginning to realize that Robinhood's long-term strategy is moving far beyond what it was in 2021 and 2022. The company is building a wider ecosystem that includes equities, options, futures, crypto, prediction markets, cash management, credit products, retirement accounts, and international expansion. These areas diversify revenue and reduce dependency on any one segment. In other words, Robinhood is turning into a multi-asset trading ecosystem rather than a simple app. But even as the long-term picture strengthens, the stock remains sensitive to market trends, macro conditions, and crypto performance. Robinhood tends to move strongly both up and down when market sentiment shifts. When the crypto market strengthens, Robinhood benefits. When trading activity rises broadly, the company sees immediate revenue improvement. And when interest rates are expected to fall, fintech stocks like Hood often outperform because lower rates boost risk appetite and reduce borrowing costs. This sensitivity can create large price swings, and investors are well aware of the volatility. Over the past quarter, Hood has seen major rallies followed by sharp pullbacks. But even with the volatility, the stock is trading near the higher end of its 2025 range. This illustrates that the market is assigning a premium to Robinhood's growth story, and expectations for the company remain elevated. With the stock closing last week at $128.49, many investors are now asking a simple question: what comes next? The answer lies in how well the company can execute on its new business lines. The derivatives exchange rollout, in particular, will be watched closely. If Robinhood can attract both existing users and new customers to trade futures and more complex products, it could unlock a new wave of growth. But if the launch is slow or regulatory hurdles increase, sentiment could shift quickly. Another factor to watch is adoption of the prediction market-style contracts. These products require regulatory clarity and thoughtful design to ensure they follow legal frameworks. If Robinhood can navigate those complexities and introduce a product that feels intuitive to retail traders, it could be a game-changing addition to the platform. But execution will determine the outcome. Crypto remains another major area of influence. Robinhood's explosive crypto revenue in the past year has been a major driver of its overall performance. If Bitcoin and other major digital assets continue rising or remain stable, Robinhood will likely benefit from increased volume. If crypto enters a period of correction, the stock may face renewed headwinds. Crypto has always been a double-edged sword for Robinhood, and that dynamic continues today. There is also the question of valuation. As the stock climbs higher, expectations rise with it. Analysts have already noted that Hood is trading at a premium relative to historical levels. That means future growth must justify the price. Strong earnings alone won't be enough. Investors will look closely at user growth, product adoption, international expansion, and the performance of new business lines. In short, Robinhood must prove that it can sustain the growth it delivered this year. Despite these risks, the long-term story remains compelling. Robinhood is one of the few companies in the fintech space that still has strong brand recognition, a large user base, and the ability to launch products rapidly. Its expansion into Europe through Bitstamp, combined with its new product categories, shows that the company is thinking globally rather than domestically. This positions Robinhood as a potential leader in the next phase of retail trading. Looking ahead, key events will shape the stock's direction. One of the most important will be updates from management on the progress of the derivatives exchange and any regulatory milestones achieved. Investors will want to know the timeline, the integration process, and how quickly users will gain access. Another important metric will be trading activity data. If user engagement remains strong across multiple product categories, it would support the theory that the company is building a diversified financial ecosystem rather than relying on hype cycles. Market conditions will also play a major role. If macro sentiment remains positive, with expectations of rate cuts and improved liquidity, Robinhood stands to benefit. If market sentiment weakens or volatility decreases significantly, trading activity could slow, putting pressure on revenue. Robinhood's performance is tied closely to the overall health of the trading environment. Right now, the company is in a position where both upside potential and execution risk coexist. The stock price reflects optimism, but the underlying developments reflect a company navigating a major transformation. It is moving from a high-growth app to a structured trading platform with multiple revenue streams. That transition comes with challenges, but if executed well, it could significantly strengthen Robinhood's long-term business model. As the weekend arrives, investors are paying attention to what the next few months will bring. Robinhood has momentum, investor interest, and a bold strategy. The coming quarters will reveal whether this momentum can evolve into long-term growth. With new products, expanding markets, and a more diverse revenue base, the company is preparing for its next chapter. Robinhood's evolution is no longer a concept, it is happening now. The stock's performance reflects that shift, and the market is watching closely to see whether the company can deliver on its ambitious roadmap. As Robinhood moves into derivatives, futures, prediction contracts, and global expansion, the stock will likely remain one of the more closely watched fintech names going forward.